There we go.
Okay, not going anywhere. Sorry. I'd like to make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Thank you, Sarah. And do we have a second? Okay, Scott. Any changes or suggestions or edits to the agenda? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. And how about for the December minutes? Motion? Someone's made the motion. And a second? Okay. And any comments, changes, questions, corrections, kudos? If everybody had a chance to look at them, I'll give everybody a minute. All in favor? Okay, great. All right. Moving right along. Actually, before we move on to that, since we do have a member of the public, why don't we just do quick introductions, just so we all get friends. I'm Jen Peabody. I'm the president of the board. I've been on the board since I think 2019 or 2020, something like that. Yeah, and I used to work here before that, so been involved for quite a while.
I'm Kim Mercola. I'm the director of the library, and I have been working here since 2011. I started as a clerk or an assistant, then went to assistant director. So it's been a great trip. I love it here.
Yeah, I think this
She's been the longest.
Yeah.
One.
Mm-hmm.
Board member, so relatively new board member.
Yeah, I'm the treasurer. I lived in London and they had to make a special dispensation to allow me to be on the.
Board member since the end of 2012. Sarah Thompson, I'm the secretary, and I would say like 6 years, something along those lines. Board.
I'm Marty Milligan. My family's been Stevenstown residents for 107 years. 3 of my uncles attended school here over 100 years ago.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, how cool.
I used to come here, take out books, and spend all of our summers, school vacations. We grew up on Long Island, raised my family in Westchester. I work in Manhattan, but I work largely remotely now, which means I get to move up here.
Nice.
That's important.
I have essentially relocated to Richmond, Pittsfield. Mom and brothers, cousins are up the road here, and friends up the road. And like to get more involved. I figured a good way would be to stop in tonight, or that was you all do here.
That's awesome. I
Great,
appreciate
welcome.
it. Yeah, yeah.
That's
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Jerry.
All right, so we will move on now to director's report. Kim?
Okay. So I've got a whole bunch of stuff coming up. You can see all of the different upcoming programs. The one thing I did need to add in is I was just able to book Rhonda's Reptiles for Bring Your Child to the Library Day, which is on February 7th. So we'll be doing Rhonda, and then we'll probably do some other crafts and activities to kind of encourage people to bring their kids here. I'm not sure what's happening with Dungeons and Dragons. They were supposed to be here last week. They never showed up. I still don't know what's going on. So I'm giving them one more chance, and then we're going to have to just take them off. I did. Sadie will be doing now a monthly PJ Storytime after PJ Storytime was so successful last time. It might have been because it was the holidays, but it's still older kids were able to come and they had a good time. So she's going to do PJ Story time for us on Tuesday the 22nd. I'm doing family bingo. So if everyone wants to come and join us for family bingo on January 30th, you're welcome to. Homeschool series is still going good. We're going to be doing the local author Richard Maturo for book group. And I've set up a fairy tea party to have during the winter break. I will also be setting up a either dinosaur tea party or a monster truck seat tea party, something to give it a little bit of oomph for anybody who's interested. Miriam Walther is going to help me with the fairy tea party because she does cosplay and she's going to bake some cupcakes and we'll have a good time with that. And I'll decide about something with the monster truck or the whatever. The trivia night, obviously we'll talk about that, but then I also was able to talk to Pat Flint. I had a lot of interest in our homeschool program for Tuesday was history of Steventown. And I had at least 2 people say, can adults come? I said no. But she's going to do calling it kind of episodes of Main Street, a history of Steventown on March 14th on a Saturday. So we'll do that at 1:00. She's got a whole slideshow presentation with pictures. And so hopefully that'll be a fun event to come and see. And she has a ton of stories that I had no idea about. So I'm going to be interested to see what she has.
What they do today?
That's March 14th at 1:00. And I'm still trying to get in touch with Robin again to do the Indigenous tourism program, but it's been busy over this couple weeks. Yeah, you can see on the statistics that we had 23 people attend PJ Storytime the other night or over the break. So numbers for programs were kind of off and on. They were good for our more traditional holiday programs that we have, but we still had a decent number, now that things are getting back in the swing of things. We had 14 people at the homeschool program on Tuesday, and we had 17 people at Storytime yesterday. And I have to say, Storytime yesterday, we had, it was just so beautiful because when they were done with the stories and the activities and the crafts, parents and kids were just all over that room, sitting down, sitting on the benches, sitting on the chairs, on the floor, playing and reading books, and it just warmed my heart. It was so wonderful to see because you don't have that space, never was like that before. So to be able to do that and see that, it's like, okay, we're good.
At this point, library for the kids not to get things out because no, they're so interested in all the new things and the activities that it's like, okay, we're just getting books today. We'll come back another day when you can pull it out. It's such a they love just chilling in there.
It's been great. So yeah, and I guess today for Lego Club we had a huge turnout because I was able to advocate at the school. So we had kids that don't ever come, and she said that Jody said that the parents with the little ones stayed in here, but then the other parents went and sat around the table over here where I took the bookcase down and just talked, and other parents were in with the kids' room. So it was really a good use of space finally. So it's like, oh, good. We're getting there.
In the children's room, when I was talking to Carly afterwards yesterday, she was talking about how much her kids love it and that same thing, they just want to be in there. And she used to have a hard time kind of keeping them contained to the room and all that, but now they like it in there.
Exactly. And yeah, and you don't have to keep the door, like we don't even have to worry about doors. Like, they're not running through and around and around and around. They're just staying in, which is lovely. It's really cool. I will absolutely do that.
Good idea.
Okay. Circulation. It was a mixed bag, actually, from November to December. We ended our 2005 circulation numbers higher than we did in 23 and 24. So that's a nice little plus. But you can see everything's kind of steady and the same. In December, we circulated less children's books, but more audiobooks and more adult books than we normally do. So I don't know what's going on, but it was still a good time. And our year-to-date number of visits, you can see in November, it spiked to 784, which makes sense because of the 200 and some odd people who came in to sign their affirmation. So that was a nice little jump. Okay, there's nothing like a budget vote to help out with that. So the 532 is a little bit, it's actually higher than some of the other years too. So we're still doing good in terms of our usage of the library, patron cards, all that stuff. You can read over the technical collection development numbers. There's put another order in from Ingram a week ago, still waiting to see how long it'll take. We were closed Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. I've been reading, I was able to get to the Berlin Elementary School to read to 7 elementary school classes. We have 20 minutes together. And it's been a lot of fun, and the kids are great. And they come in and like, I know you. And I'm like, I know you too. Let's keep going. So, and a couple of them are like, I really want my mom to take me to the library. So I think some of those kids actually came to the club too. So that was kind of nice. I did attend a DA meeting at the beginning of the month. Library Advocacy Day is February 3rd. If anyone wants to go up, I'm going to be there. We are meeting with Scott Bendett at 10 o'clock. That his office is already scheduled. I don't know about the others. Anyone's welcome to join if you want to. One thing I would suggest is getting there early because you have to go through security and metal detectors and all that stuff. But it can actually be a fun day just to talk with our representatives and just really drive home the fact that the libraries are important. And one of the things I did not put in here because I forgot is that we just got funding from Scott, or we will be getting funding from Scott Bendett's office. I think we're getting, I don't know, maybe I did. No, but we are getting a grant and it is going to be about $3,000. So that's another reason to go and say thank you.
Yeah.
Is it for a specific?
No, it's just their earmarked money that, he gets a certain chunk of money from the county or from the state, and then he divides it all between the libraries. So he divides it equally amongst all of the Rensselaer County libraries.
Very nice.
Yeah. He did it last year as well. So I'm hoping it'll just continue on. I know I was talked about the Discover platform that's just opened up on the websites on the internet, and seems to be going smoothly. As far as I can tell, I don't know if anyone's had the chance to look through it, but it's really easy to use and it's nice to use. All of your information should still be there. So I haven't heard any issues. I haven't had anyone complaining or questioning or anything like that. So that's good.
That was easy. It seemed a little bit more modern and,
Exactly. Yeah.
suggestions and things like that.
There's going to be ways that I can individualize our site so it doesn't say Upper Hudson. I think I can put our logo on it. I just have to find out how to do all that stuff. Upper Hudson's been a little crazed with trying to get all that stuff done. Okay. I did meet with the Berlin Elementary School again. They are doing some reading programs that they're trying to keep the libraries involved in. They're doing a book club, really more for adults, centered around the anxious generation. So I told them we will have copies for people if they want to come here to get copies of it available. We do have our own copy, but I'll get some more.
Have you read it?
No.
It's actually good.
Is it good? Yeah, I haven't had time to read anything like that yet. I know that it's like a book club, and they're going to do this the book club is going to be on the April. Oh, I didn't put it there. April 1st is the day of the event, so if anyone wants to go and join the conversation, you're welcome to. They are thinking that they might do, a book came out recently, same author, but it's a book for kids based on this book, and it's called The Amazing Generation. So we'll be getting that copy of that, but then they're also thinking about doing a book club at the school with that, so we'll try and help as we
Is
can.
there some sort of demarcation of when the anxious generation, is it sort of like COVID and?
I have no idea. I haven't read it.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
And 9/11 is a part of it, like, I'm wondering how big of a generation it's supposed to be. Much more current. I'll get the book and find out. Thanks. Yeah.
They are also trying very hard to promote screen-free activities during winter break and spring break. So I said I will give them our calendar for February break. February break, and told them that we're already trying to do, family bingo and all those other things. They're going to still try and really push some of that stuff to try and get kids on phones. Construction grant update. Yes.
Yeah. What about a reading challenge, like you do summer reading, but summer, like school break challenge or something?
That's a great idea.
Surprises that would be
reading challenge. Oh, that's a great idea. Thank you. Okay, yeah, that would be cool. Actually, it might be fun to do, like maybe a passport or something that the kids can go to the 4 different libraries and pick out a book and, see if they can do something together. Thank you. Shorts, yes.
it's only a week, right?
It's only a week. Okay, so onto the kids' room is done. I mean, except for if we wanted to replace windows at some point, but other than that, the room is finished. They came and did the threshold. They touched up the paint. So everything is pretty much finished, and we have a decent amount of money left. I was able to go through and figure all his stuff out again, and technically, with the money we're supposed to match with, we have $27,000 left that we're supposed to spend. So it's 17,465 of New York State grant money, and then 9,600 of ours. I think we need to really do the roof, and I'm still trying to figure out how to go about asking DLD if we can expand the scope of that so that we can do the roof with it. I have a $14,000 quote to have the roof redone, so that would then leave us with another 13,000. So we could potentially put in, doing new windows would definitely be energy efficiency, and that would absolutely, I would assume. So maybe we could see if we could do as many windows as we could with that amount of money. So I just heard from Megan, and she said that I should talk to Chris, but Chris said I should talk to Megan. So I'm going to figure that part out. I'm going to make some phone calls and see who we need to get in touch with. So hopefully, if everyone's okay with me pushing for that direction, I'll continue with that. Okay. So it'd be great to just keep on going with it. I can't believe we have as much extra as we do. And I know they don't want it back. So it'd be great to be able to get it.
Does anybody remember? I know, like, now it's probably going on 2 years. We got that window quote.
Yeah.
For the one window. Is that I can't even remember. I hear
There's anywhere between 700.
Oh wait, it's in my. Yeah, I think it wasn't a huge amount. I thought I had it in this folder. It's in my bookkeeping folder.
So it could still be quite a few windows, in other words.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
potentially, yeah. I can look that up and send it out to you guys afterwards if you want. The one thing also and I have entered all of this information into the DLD portal, so we're trying to get the expenditure reports. I'm working with Chris to make sure that I'm doing it right because I've never done this before. So I have a couple things I have to change, but other than that, we're on the right track. Other thing to know is that our electric bill rose quite a bit because of the heat pumps. So we went from $79 in October to $420 in December. It's also, I have noticed that when the temperature gets really cold, they do not work as well as I would like them to. So we'll see what happens, but I'm going to try and figure out if I can do better programming with it so that I keep it all.
Hey, Ari.
Try and keep the programming so that we're keeping the heat on at certain times, and but I'm not sure I can program it for an entire week. I think I can only program some of them for like a day. So I might have to change the way staff opens up, and we'll see. So I have to work on that.
And we don't think there's anything else going on with that electric bill, if something wrong.
It's just winter time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so I've had several friends reach out on their county side. I don't know if it's relevant or not, but saying that their bills that they just got were significantly higher than any other bills that they've had. So I don't know, we go back and forth with these conversations.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's something amiss that they might find out.
I can look into it, but I do know that they Rensselaer or NYSEG has raised their rates.
Yeah.
So that's one of the problems that too. So, and our solar isn't obviously functioning as it normally does because it's wintertime.
And what was the primary concern for heat pumps?
We had 2 furnaces. We have one furnace still here underneath this building, and then we had another furnace in the kids' room, so both oil burning furnaces. So, and then that one was on its way out, so we figured let's replace with the heat pumps instead.
How much cost savings do we anticipate will happen if I'm not?
That's a good question. I have to look it up, but significant because we're spending at least $3,000 to $4,000 a year on oil. So the hope was that it would bring it down significantly. So, and more money stuff. We did receive a $2,000 grant from Rensselaer County Department for Youth, so I can boost up our summer reading program. That money is specifically to go towards summer reading, so I think we'll have some fun with that. Maybe bring in some new presenters, do some more activities. We're going to keep the tally marks the way we did last year because that worked really well. And I am working on. I just attended a meeting on programming for older adults with Alzheimer's and dementia. Got some new ideas for things, so I'm gonna see if I can work on that as well. I think that's
Just things that are like fun, like engaging,
yeah,
like something to help people
a
get resources or something.
little
like
both.
that.
They have there's a program, memory cafes that they have, and they found that they've worked really well for people, especially who are have issues with Alzheimer's or dementia, and they bring in music, and they'll have some food and different activities that people can do. So I'm kind of thinking maybe doing something like a memory cafe, maybe once every month or 2, just to kind of see if we can't get something here.
You think it would feel like sort of stigmatized if we called it that?
I mean, it wouldn't be specifically for people and their,
It would be for their care.
it would be for the caregivers and, yeah. I mean, a memory cafe, it's called. It's really just a program for older adults who have dementia or Alzheimer's and their caregivers to come in and create community. It's not
Kind of like what takes place in assisted living facilities where they're
similar, yeah.
Have a center.
Okay.
Then says
Oh, this wouldn't be anything like that. This would just be open to if you've had a diagnosis, you don't have to prove it. You just come in. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that would mean it would be just one more place that you guys, all 3 of you could come in and meet other people, meet other caregivers, meet other, so it's just one of those to try and build community and support systems. Mhm. Yep, something I'm looking into seeing, and I'm going to try and see if I can work with the Alzheimer's Association of Albany. Oh, can you give me her name?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
she already interviewed us. She wants to interview us again. So she is very interested in people like you and those kind of issues.
Oh,
So
cool. Okay.
she has a lot of experience, a lot of education. So
I'll reach out to her. Yeah, that would be great.
She's really nice.
Okay, awesome. I will definitely reach out to her then. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, wait, sorry. I did give you all the annual report from Upper Hudson for circulation of digital content. Um, so you can see just all of our different stats. What I find interesting is the circulation digital versus physical. It really does give us a idea as to, with audiobooks especially, we're probably going to need to just start bringing that collection down because it's taking up a lot of space that and nobody uses it. 3% of our audiobook collection is physical. Circulation is physical. Everything else is digital. So, which makes sense because I don't know that my car has a CD player in it anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's there. It's kind of going out. But our physical, what other people are also kind of interested in is that our physical collection is still higher than our digital collection in terms of circulation. So that's pretty cool. So just some interesting statistics to see.
What do you think accounts for that big jump in the periodicals?
The
First page.
just started advertising and letting people know that we had all of those things available.
And is that where the New York Times would come in?
No, periodicals are actually it might be periodical. Yeah, the New York Times would be under that.
Okay.
So we don't have a lot of people from Steventown taking or doing it.
Huh?
No, I get a statistical report and I've only seen like maybe 1 or 2 pages. So not a lot. But I'm going to do another push because we did just get a collection. We're going to be doing Wall Street Journal as well. So I'm going to make those 2 front and center on the website. I just want to make sure it's okay with everybody when I take down the annual appeal letter off of the website and then also just
something.
Don't see any.
or is that okay with everybody if I take that down?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I'll just add on there. And so we now have Comics Plus, the Wall Street Journal, and the New York Times. So those are some very good new resources for everybody. So there you go. No problem.
Any other questions on the treasure? I mean, all right, moving on. Richard, treasurer's report.
Yeah, and out, you've got the account balances as of Tuesday. So our money market is back to where it was before, the wonderful grant, et cetera. So I think they're on that. Scholarship or the special project savings is still pretty healthy. We are going to look into moving a lot of that into the money markets so we can get interest. Have to go talk to the Broadview people. I'll move that tomorrow, weather permitting.
That'd be great. Thank you, Richard.
Yeah.
Good to get that.
The accounts that were zero, I did not include on here. Accounts that are in distance, but they have no money in them, so.
And the credit card too, you're gonna get.
I'm gonna figure out how, since we have the money, how to get the credit cards on the website. Because right now, only you could look at it as far as going to the account itself. But I can't see it.
I don't think I see it either.
Yeah, I don't see it on mine either.
So how do you?
They send it by mail.
Really?
Yeah, I still get snail mail
I do
statements.
too, I get them stamped now.
That's why we usually do it. So we try to get it. It would be Broadview, I think.
Credit MasterCard or.
It's a Visa, I think. I think it's a Visa, but still, we can't pay it online because we don't have access to it on our the bank statement or the banking portal.
Yeah, I'm just not sure that, sometimes I have a card to check, I have a card to United, but to pay it, I have to go to Chase.
That's how we used to do it. And then once,
I'll go talk to them.
yeah.
That's not.
Can we set up a time to meet so that we can talk about automatic payments and doing things online because I now have another check that hasn't arrived at Ingram. I was giving it until the end of the week. So
I'm so happy. MR. I think.
yeah,
Clear.
like three after
I
three of
know,
them.
and we spent like a lot of money mailing it to them.
Exactly. Oh, it wouldn't be the bank. I just want us to be able to do it online, like pay these bills online. You can. I was thinking more, what I do is just go to the individual place or have it on automatic withdrawal. Like right now we have automatic withdrawal for NICEAG and Consolidated and the printer, something else. I don't remember. There's a couple of others, but if we had stuff that was automatic withdrawal or just we need to come up with a policy or a way to do all of that because we don't really have anything on the books as to how to handle electronic payments. Because my payment to Ingram just is lost in the mail again. So we're gonna have to spend $25 to do a stop payment. And then, so,
I'll check with them because normally like the way I mine and I do for the church is I pay through the bank website.
Okay.
And you enter, and it gives you a list of, bills and you pay them from that website. So if Broadview could set that up, then you could do it that way. Instead of going to each individual website and then you have a record, you can print out all the ones you paid that day and have a hard copy.
Right. So yeah, that's what we have to figure out then. But I know I'm not doing the paying.
I'm going to talk to them about transferring some money. Find out.
Okay, that'd be great.
Does
Thank you.
Upper Hudson have a policy around that we think we should?
I'm sure someone does.
Is that, so I would reinvent the wheel.
Right.
Why even go to ChatGPT?
So, what I have is budget, third page under supplies. Utilities that sort of way down. You have 1,500 for electricity and 2,500 for heating oil. Do you want to flip those numbers now? 2,500 for electricity. Because of the heat pump situation?
We could.
That makes sense.
Did we make a change? I don't remember now because we did the budget, so.
Kept it as was.
We have to know.
Yeah, because we didn't know what to expect in terms of what, how much things were going to go up or down. So we just kept it as what we usually budgeted it for.
You oil people, are you on autofill?
Yeah. The last bill that I just got from them, is this the stuff?
Yes.
Nope, it was only $194. 62, which normally usually we have a lot more in that. So
the electric's obviously going up, but the oil is gone down.
Basically trading down.
Yeah.
yeah.
Hopefully it's still lower altogether.
Can I pass those two to sign when we're done? Those are just checks, bills that need to be paid or signed when we're done with the meeting. I mean, if you want me to switch them, I'll.
Say in March, if we see gas and increase in electric, then it might be good time.
Okay, we can keep an eye on it then.
And it's just that,
Good point.
looking at that and she said, yeah, $400 electric bill, I thought, oh, then go that 5,800.
Right.
Exactly.
Other than that, really not a whole lot to update. One to 12. Anything on the budget that anybody, I know we discussed it last month, I wasn't here, it was on city. City on Central or something.
I think we mostly just, I don't think there was much
Yeah, the
discussion. 'cause we had-
2026.
Yeah, we were.
The one with the four.
Well, Yeah,
Pretty much.
exactly, yeah.
I was really glad to see the annual appeal. It was great.
That's an excellent segue to our next item.
Sorry, say that again. Yes. Yes, so it wouldn't show up on this P&L, yeah.
So as far as fundraising, shall we move on?
Sure. Any other thing for the treasurer's report?
No, I'm looking forward to seeing what the fundraising you people are gonna give me to play with. You just gave me an initial $3,000, so I took it.
Sounds great.
So, speaking of the annual appeal, between the annual appeal and the holiday market, our end of year fundraising was awfully successful with over $25,000. So that's pretty exciting.
How much did the annual appeal make last year?
18 months here, I think.
I can tell.
This was the highest ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So normally we close it out at the end of January, so I didn't do a formal report yet, but just as a highlights, when I looked at the end of last week. So we had over 139 gifts, for 24,000 or so. We've had one of them, which came in directly related to the 414 issues, was $3,000. That's pretty much the highest we've had. We had one at $1,500, 7 donations of $1,000.
Wow.
Which, 5 at 500 and 11 at 250. So it was nice. We really had some very generous donations.
So it was both more people and higher
Yeah.
numbers, yeah.
And we had 29 new donors. Now, again, I didn't do the full report to check to see comparing it to the past couple of years, but I would really guess that I think some of those are definitely because of the heightened awareness with the 414 going on. 2 of them definitely came in. The donations came in with their affirmation, so we know it's directly related to that. So very encouraging.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, you never know exactly what all is at play and what's contributing to it all, but
It just seemed like people were so shocked that they
Yeah.
thought that there wasn't the support they expected, and they wanted to show that they personally were
Right.
having a lot of support.
Yeah.
That's great. So looking at 2026 and our plans for fundraising, the first thing we're gonna do, well, actually, the first thing, and I need to ask you more about this, because I forgot to before, is the party.
oh yeah, I met with her yesterday.
Okay, gonna do that
Right
first.
now? Sure.
I just wasn't sure if it was gonna be on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, so Valentine's Day is Saturday. So, and she does have to make them. So this is Carly Neat offered to do a fundraiser of chocolate covered strawberries for Valentine's Day. So met with her yesterday to hash out some details, and we can further hash them out now as well. But sorry, let's find my page here. So she's willing to donate everything. I'm still not super comfortable with that, but it sounded like the expenses aren't crazy. So it would be a pickup, a pre-order, up until I think it's Wednesday before Valentine's Day. She will also make some extras to have that people could purchase the day of if they're in on that Saturday, but all pickups would be done on Saturday during open hours. So the thought would be order in quantities of 4, 8, 12, and 24. With the base price for plain old chocolate covered strawberries of $3 a piece. And then an upcharge for the specialty toppings, lack of a better word, or the bouquet doing presentation of them as a bouquet in a vase. So I don't know if people think pricing wise, if that seems like a reasonable price. I saw that Shelley's Treats just posted about hers, and I think they're $2 a piece instead of $3, but this is a fundraiser.
That sounds good. $3.
I mean, especially if you're offering like different quantities, because you don't just get 4.
Right, yeah. So if that sounds good to folks, I will confirm with Carly. I've got the Square site already started. Yeah, so I've got the options going there. And I have the marketing, graphic started for Facebook and other marketing. And I guess maybe, I don't know if do you think we should have some paper forms?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, old people.
As we all write down our notes on our paper.
Right, no, exactly. All right, so I can make some paper forms too.
Great. Okay.
Cool.
So the fundraising committee, without Mary Ann, who was available, met on Tuesday, and we firmed up the Sunday, March 8th date for the trivia event. I went over and spoke with Alyssa, got the landlord with her authorization form signed, and somehow the liquor license application, which Jen put in yesterday, is approved already and done as of today. Usually it takes like a month. I don't know.
Yeah, the last 2 times it came in.
They're loving it. No.
The last 2 times.
Things go very quickly and they're loving it.
No.
You're honest there, buddy.
Yeah, they even say like, do the thing, you won't get it before 2 days before your event, which is what happened the last 2 times, and you're like biting your nails. And you're like, what happens if it doesn't come through? Yeah, now I'm nervous that they sent it so fast.
Yeah. But that's great. I also got in touch with Scott Connors to make sure that he's still available to do the musical accompaniment. He also has musical trivia questions in there, and he is, so that's great. And today I heard from Scott Hennick, who said that he's almost sure that he can do the counting. There's some family issues, but he thinks it should be fine. So I have in that packet a checklist of things that we can take a look at.
I just jump in for 1 second.
Yeah.
So on there, did you talk to her about, I can talk to her. She mentioned to me when we had consulted about holding on to having the check roll over, or did that get?
I never paid.
No, and she said that she would like you. to
Yeah,
pay
I'll go.
You're $100 and Steve Downs $200.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
So I'll go. I'm gonna be there tomorrow, so I'll try to.
Fantastic.
Take a check for.
Okay. So that's great. I need to get out something to Grow the Valley, a press release, which I'll do the next week. The thing that I want to get taken care of for that is see if 4 and 20s is willing to work with us again for the kegs and the wine, just because they're local and because you and
We still have some wine.
Oh, you
that
do?
we purchased.
Oh, great.
That I have in a box. So we're good with wine.
So we don't need any wine?
I don't think so. I'll double check.
Okay.
We also have a lot of cider left over.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you if you still have that 9th in Connecticut.
I think
if we
it's all
still have it.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, I
with you
still-
guys?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So maybe all we need is kegs.
Yeah, that's what.
It
I'm
sort of
thinking.
depends on how many people sign up, so I'll have to keep an eye on that, but I'll just speak to them and see if they're still willing to do it. It's kind of looked like they were closing, but it doesn't look like that anymore. It looks like they're back in business, right?
They were very open today.
Yeah, they seem to be going great guns. So I think that should work out okay. And a lot of this is we've really taken care of already because we already had agreed on all the questions. We have the slideshows done. I just need tiny modifications on dates and things like that for that. The one thing that I am proposing as far that's different is the more I thought about the tacos, the more I thought it was kind of unwieldy to have all these components and putting it together. And I thought it would be easier just to do like the stuffed shells and lasagna where you just so unless people disagree with that, I think that the committee thought that made sense too.
I think the food is not as important as the trivia.
Right, and so.
Most comments I've heard is less food. more
Right, right. And so we're front loading the food. You come in, you have a drink, you have your piece of lasagna, and we move right into trivia at 5 o'clock. So, and then, like before, we had 3 rounds of food. We had appetizers, and then, it was a lot. So we cut that out. Yeah, we've simplified it, and I think that's also simpler food that we can just stick in those big ovens at New Lebanon Community Center, and I think it should work well.
I have a comment on that, and I didn't think about it till just now,
Mhm.
looking at it across the line, lasagna shells, all cheese items, we need to have like a non-dairy kind of something,
Okay.
instead of having lasagna, like veggie lasagna, maybe the veggie something is also a non-dairy.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay.
Just something to remember too, if you guys remember from last time, we had it all ready to put in the ovens, but we had so much to put in the ovens that it really lengthened
Yeah.
the
Yeah, we
heating
have to
time.
put stuff in earlier.
Yeah.
So that was definitely.
Yeah, we gotta get there early
Issue.
and
Yeah,
get it in.
Keep rotating.
Yeah.
So we.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're still emceeing, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Toby and Tim both agreed to bartend since we've lost our Vinny for that. And then, I just sort of threw people in the
I see that.
the job. And if you don't want to.
You got
do
bound
that,
home.
let me know. Let me know.
I'm happy to help set up, and you can just put me in whatever other things.
Okay.
I'll be there.
The only thing I'm worried about is the event itself and after, because depending on what the children, the needs of my children.
Oh,
So I usually don't stay for the event. I usually have to be home.
so
I stay during, like, I do the food prep, then I do the.
okay, so you can't do
decorations.
so I just need somebody else to do
The serving.
Okay.
Yes, possibly. I will check into that.
Okay, and I have as cleanup, which is kind of a.
Well, hold on a second. The other thing too with the bartending, we only need one person.
Okay, then
Like, so if you need someone else to help serve, then,
yes,
Right.
Toby,
Yeah.
I mean, Toby was serving with me
Yeah.
before, so he can either be a server or whatever, but if somebody's not there, they'll cover. But, Tim knows how to tap a keg, and Toby doesn't know. He knows how to. I wanted to stick with what we did before, which was we had the $500. We break the prizes out into 3 rounds with 3 demarcations of what you could win: 175 for first prize, 75 for second, 25 for, so that more people get money rather than one big stack.
Oh, I see.
Right.
Okay.
Are we doing early bird tickets again? The price tickets?
I thought it was a great idea, but it didn't seem like it made, well, it's hard to tell. I mean, it's hard to tell if that didn't make an impact or if it was just the wrong time of the year or something.
Yeah.
Very difficult to say, but I'm not sure. I mean, I was thinking no, but if somebody wants to argue in favor, I got no problem with it. It just seemed like we made a little bit less, and then
Yeah.
we would have.
And I guess we kind of agreed at this point that like, come hell or high water, we're doing this event, so,
Right,
we're not making it, there's not really a decision point.
right.
So keep in mind, I just saw this today, trivia game night on the
I saw that too,
27th,
yeah.
from school. So school's doing a fundraiser. Not the
27th
of February. So like the week, I think it's the week before, or 2 weeks before. At the community center.
Yeah.
But it's
Much
intended
cheaper.
to be for like a family kind of, it's a Tuesday night family thing, but I don't want it to get confused in the translation of our night.
Yeah, we have to make sure. that-
When is when is it? There's the
So
20
theirs is the 27th. It literally just.
of February.
Yeah.
That's a Friday. That's a Friday.
Oh, February, okay.
Yeah.
I was looking at January, sorry. But yeah,
The school.
The
For
school.
Lebanon schools.
it's a,
Martin Road to Trivia.
yeah.
I think
It's
it's a different population.
Yeah, it's geared to kids and raffles. It's more like a family night kind of thing. Hot food snacks, purchase $5 per person. I just want to make sure that we're being clear with the people who are trying to attend ours
They don't
versus
get
theirs,
confused,
that they don't
exactly.
get confused. So just making sure when people are registering.
Okay.
I don't think it's gonna be like the same demographic interest.
Right,
But
yeah.
just because they're so closely gated.
And I want to urge everybody to reach out to your friend groups or any groups that you're in to invite people early so that we don't have the same problem that we had now.
What is the cost? It's the same $40.
I think we should, yeah, stick with.
Or do you have a suggestion, Richard?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm doing a trivia night over at Hall, and they're thinking it's a lot different. They're saying like $10, but they're gonna have a cash bar like we do to get more people in the door. But they're not gonna have food or anything, so their thinking is more get the people in there, and then, we cut out the cash bar. It's not officially a fundraiser, so to speak. I'm just saying that, that's it, because I talked to the program director a lot, and that's how she wants to do it. And I said, okay, fine, that's, different than how we do it, so,
Right.
I'm meeting with her, I think, Monday or Tuesday next week, it's a final thing, so we're doing one on the 8th, but it's gonna be in Lenox, which is totally different than Friday.
Right.
Totally, and it's Gilded Age trivia, so I'm not gonna steal it, I may steal some of your questions. Any of it may do with the Gilded Age, I don't know.
Yeah, I think $40 is good. I mean, they're getting a meal. It's a whole evening of fun,
Oh, yeah.
delight.
I think we should also focus on two things when we do start advertising. Is one is the fundraising.
Right,
Because that
We
helps.
Support the library.
$40 price tag. And then two is just the date, so that people really know what date is our day.
Right, and to that point, we're planning to put a calendar together of the fundraisers well in advance so that we have them all laid out so that people can save the date for July and for October and so on, for the ones coming up, and hopefully we won't have the problems that we've had with people just not signing up. So we're recommending doing 3 big fundraisers this year, this trivia being one of them, and then the 2 smaller ones being the Valentine's Day and our usual holiday market. For the other 2, other than trivia, we wanted to do the bake off that you had said a lot of people are asking for, Jen. I thought you said people had said they wanted to do a bake off.
I mean, I don't think it was me. I remember talking about a bake off, but I don't have any personal knowledge of bake off.
I think people said it on Facebook. I think there were people on Facebook who said, "Oh, it would be fun to have it."
Dreaming. I think it's good.
Time. What time is
I know
the trivia night?
about it. I wish.
What time are we doing?
Oh, 4. Same as last time.
Go back and regenerate what I said.
In any case, when we were talking about it, Kim was overhearing and she said it is the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. And it would maybe be a nice summer themed Americana thing for that in July to have an outdoor bake off and people bring apple pies, cakes. So we could have a pie bake off, a cake bake off, a cookie bake off. We could do it out on the lawn if the weather's okay, but we would need, I think the fire hall would make the most sense as the backup for that one. Does that sound good?
Are they, I've heard that the Historical Society is trying to plan something like.
Oh, I haven't heard.
Yeah.
They usually do the strawberry festival.
Yeah, but I mean specific to the 250th.
Oh, yeah, they
We're
haven't.
gonna do it on. So
Okay.
same month, but not.
Not necessarily like in honor, but for the theme.
Yes.
Okay.
Americana.
Yeah, not.
I should get in touch with them
Not
anyway, because
for-
I wanted to do some programming based on it as well, so I've already got some links and stuff, so I was gonna, maybe we can find ways.
So I don't know if this July 19th sound, I know people probably have no idea. No, but No idea. That one is
Sunday.
Sunday.
So it's a couple weeks away from the florist.
I say, let's just say do it. Just schedule it.
Okay, cool. And then the third big one would be bingo. And I know you're having the family bingo here, but I thought if we could have just sort of a basic big bingo and use the new Lebanon Community Center again, that would be kind of, I think we would have to find somebody to run it.
I know,
I can call it, I know that.
I know someone too who does it at SNS.
Oh.
Who offered.
Yeah, you said
Yeah.
they
I
offered.
think we need to talk about that one a little bit more and how we're gonna raise money
Mhm.
with that one.
Mhm. Yeah, but I just wanted
Definitely
to,
doable.
if
Yeah,
people think it's a good idea to get it on the calendar.
yeah.
And so that one we were talking about doing October 11th. And then the only other one is the annual holiday market, which I was thinking December 19th. December 19th.
Wait, is October 11th before we move on from that? Is that Columbus Day?
No, I don't think it was.
It is. No, it is.
Oh, it is?
Columbus Day.
Oh, that's right. I thought, well, people would have an extra day, so Sunday would be if you only because next day they're off.
I just wonder if people are
Away.
yeah, or booked, or I don't know. I don't know.
A lot of people that can't go, that's like the last weekend. Camping. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Their plan. Yeah.
So when, so are they gonna wanna go out at night? I'm not being. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So like 2 o'clock, which means renew up.
Wait,
so
what
not-
did you-
Okay,
Back to the bingo.
back to the bingo. Trying to pick a
Well,
day and.
Like I said, I think we talk about more, because I know that Elisa at the community center did a bingo. I think she's done a couple of them. And these have been free, like and they weren't well attended at all. So I think we kind of, we need to do a lot of strategic planning on how we're gonna make money doing it, just because.
Or do something else.
Yeah, I think we just need to.
Well, like,
No, sorry, like before we finalize anything, I think we need to kind of talk about it a little bit more. I think that's
Because
just my
most of the
thought.
senior clubs, they have a day, once a month or twice a month that they have bingo. The one I go to in Galatia, every Friday is bingo. And they all just put a quarter in and whoever wins the hand gets all the quarters. So there's no truth there.
I'm not sure that model will work.
What's
that? I'm not sure that model will work.
Well, that's exactly what Mary Ann is saying, is that they're used to, just not paying to do it.
That's,
well, we could also just go back to have another tribute. Instead of
Or
bingo.
like maybe a cornhole tournament.
Yeah, cornhole, we need a space, we need somebody who knows what they're doing. It seemed a little bit more problematic when we were.
Well, there's professionals that do it, but there's also a lot of information online of how to do it.
Yes, and
We're doing it as a fundraiser, kind of a low key thing.
yeah.
I don't think people, can show up expecting
cutthroat.
cutthroat. And you could do that at the fire hall. That's the goal. Weather permitting, if you'd like to do it outside, but you could, the fire hall, you could set up at least 5 or 6, cornhole.
I might even actually just put them in.
Well, yeah.
It's just a thought. I mean, it's.
Yeah, I mean, they're all just thoughts.
Regretfully, the bingo, Marianne, the more I think about it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
let's just try it.
Later.
Yeah, I don't know, like a big
Right,
event, and a
yeah.
big event, like it's,
So maybe the very end.
yeah.
Okay.
I think for now, just getting a date and then.
And we'll figure out
Figure out what
what it is.
Yeah, but we can't put it on the library now.
What can you say?
You could just put
Library
fundraiser, library fundraiser, you know, and then just leave it.
You have any ideas of what you'd like to go do? Sure, you have somebody at Cena Heights with that. But you've never done video.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, we can just start with that, and then once we know, we plug in the real thing. Okay, so what day in September?
Like the 27th?
Yeah.
Sure. Or this week, that's should be a lot of Sunday.
I think we do Sundays because the community center left it open on Sunday.
Yes, that's why we're doing it, yeah.
So that's where we're hosting it at, but if we were gonna do like the fire hall or something.
And we don't know until we know
Different,
what it
right.
is. If it's a cornhole, we'll do that. If it's something.
Correct.
Or like that, we would, so.
I think we had talked about it when we, at one point, we were talking about the cornhole thing and we talked about like, I think we liked the idea of doing like a fall cornhole, chili.
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
Kind of thing, so maybe.
It's about the 26th.
Yeah.
That way we could kind of keep it simple too. We could sell chili to raise money. Keep it simple.
Cider, yeah, like that, and have it be like a fall, intro to fall,
Right.
kickoff fall.
Okay.
Right, I think Sundays are tricky.
Yeah.
Especially for football season.
Well, I trust you, I trust you.
Not too much for myself.
But we're not locking in yet to the cornhole. But that's a possibility.
So chili.
Bye.
I do the same thing every time I hear Logan's go off.
Yeah.
Wow. A big spoon in the bottom of the chili pot.
Well, we were wondering where that spoon
Was that
went.
the spoon that fell in?
I think they're blue.
I'll get just back to
Whatever. Yeah, we have spoons.
Yeah.
It was plastic.
I
Was it always that? Was it a metal? Oh,
It was like not a ladle.
yeah, it was just a big. Yeah. I thought it was the blue ladle, and I'm like, how could you lose that beast?
No, it fit perfectly in the bottom.
So I see you had my name on here for talking about it. I just got to touch Chris today. He's open to the idea. He wanted to talk it over with his wife, who's his business partner, and wrap his head around what they kind of were interested in logistics wise or whatever and get back to me. So, I'm in there almost every day. So when
That was about the breakfast.
the breakfast sandwich thing.
Because we were thinking there aren't really that many commuters, in this neighborhood, so maybe I could, just hook up with Mavericks and do something.
We'll pick a date or something and basically the sales, a portion of the sales would go to us as a fundraiser. And he's very civically oriented.
Yeah, he's great.
Yes, he's fantastic. Him and his wife own it. They're very personable and open too. He just wanted to have an idea with her as far as from their business side of it, how logistics of it would work. I kind of threw out the idea of what we had talked about, or like my experience was Chick-fil-A had teamed up in South Carolina with the school. All of the families who wanted to went to the Chick-fil-A that night, and a portion of sales went back to school. So it was that kind of idea. So we were not married to that. I just kind of wanted to see if he was open because I know he likes community things. He's very oriented to the library. He loves Jen and all of the things. So, he's very open to it. He just, like I said, wanted to chat it over with his wife. And
Sorry that.
no worries. Right. So he's open to the idea, in further discussion. So as I,
You could have like a whole day, maybe whatever,
Correct, and he does,
Not
correct,
necessarily breakfast.
right, and or maybe it's just a particular menu that is Steventown residents, I don't know, he wants to play around with it and think about it, but they do a tremendous amount of business on the weekends especially.
Oh, yeah.
And
I mean,
so
this would be the only. Right, like this would be a really.
is like, if you go in and mention the Steventown Library, you know, then they mark it down that this was a sale towards that, and then the donation, you know, maybe there's a special menu, I don't know, there's a lot of logistics, it could be easy, it could be hard, depending on how he wants to do it, but I'm leaving it, it's his business, so I'm kind of leaving it open to his next suggestion, after he kind of discusses it with.
So he's gonna get back in touch with you.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
Okay, cool.
And so like, I know, I'll give him a few days and
Okay,
tap into him next week maybe,
yeah, that could,
and see.
and that could be something that we do multiple times a year.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and it gives him an idea too, because like he likes to support the school, he likes to support the Lebanon Library and things like that. So if it's something that works for us, it may be something that he can carry on periodically in his, you know, attempts
Yes,
to
with-
support the community
Yeah,
down there.
with other organizations.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So,
that's it for fundraising.
Yeah.
Everything else is good.
Yeah.
You know? But we've already discussed the bank accounts and money market. So that's been covered. We kind of discussed online bill paying, electronic payment.
Yeah, it's, I'll go by Broadview tomorrow. Right there up and on. Check it out.
We've discussed the windows. It looks like we've talked about a lot of these things already. Open house.
The other two things, I was suggesting that we do some sort of open house here, thank the community for the
Yeah.
support.
Absolutely.
Sooner would be better.
Yeah, I agree.
and that would be a nice winter event, too, if people want things to do to get out of the house.
Could we combine that with Rhonda's reptiles? No? Okay, never
That's
mind.
just me.
I don't think, I know some people wouldn't want to be around them, like, I don't
Yeah.
care, but I just.
There are-
Okay,
Like,
just a suggestion, but that's what we can do something else. She's gonna have an alligator here too, but you can't touch him.
Alligator?
Yeah, but she tapes his mouth, so he can't bite anything.
That seemed right.
It doesn't bother him. She said he's totally fine, and he doesn't do that when he's at home.
There's Rhonda.
Has all her fingers, if I can tell.
Like now.
Oh, this is a smaller gator that she brings. She used to have, I don't know if this, but had a 6 foot long thing that she would bring outside.
Right?
She's a rescue. Rhonda does this.
Rescue this alligator?
She's a little bit far.
Don't know where.
We're there, like, maybe before now.
And then they don't want them, and then they have no place to put them, so she takes them. So she has a ton of stuff, so she always needs the support too, so.
So what were you thinking for open house?
And like what sort of time frame?
Only thinking.
Sooner rather than later. I didn't have any particular ideas. It was really just
No, I
we
think
could
we're-
bake cookies and bake some stuff and
Thing we had for the children's room was a really
Right.
nice reception, that we could
Something like
do something
that,
like
yeah.
that, hot cocoa and coffee.
whatever.
you
I just
know,
think.
yeah, I think it's a great idea. Yeah.
I would do it on a Saturday or a Sunday. Right now we're on the 15th. So if we were to do it on the 31st, I would give 2 weeks to advertise, which I could start doing right now if you wanted to. The 31st of January. That's the last Saturday of the month. Otherwise, the next Saturday is when I have the reptiles coming, and the Saturday after that is Valentine's Day. So
And
the Saturday,
Saturday is the break.
Do you think that we
break,
might
breaks.
be able to do it on early Valentine's Day, and that would actually drive sales of the?
Well,
We don't want to try.
you don't want to, it has to be pre-order. I mean, you don't want to have too many people who are trying to buy,
Right.
That day.
Too much for her, yeah.
right?
All right, so yeah, that sounds like a good day.
31st sounds.
Yeah,
You know,
Okay.
and I wasn't thinking of anything difficult.
Open house, and we'll kind of do it as a, we'll do it for the whole time that we're open, so from 10 to 2.
Yeah.
And desserts and coffee and stuff, and leave it at that.
Yeah.
Donuts.
As many as you're willing to make.
Always say that.
I know. So we'll do desserts, drinks. And so we're just gonna say a thank you to the community is how I'll kind of
Yeah, I
advertise
think
it.
that sounds great.
Okay, and if anyone wants to donate or give me, bring stuff in, that would be great.
And the other 414 related item, which is actually interesting. I spoke to, I think I had mentioned this, I had spoken to Sarah Greenhalgh, who was with or is with Free Speech for the People. That's the organization that was affiliated with the League of Women's Voters. And she is interested, as I had mentioned, in asking the AG's office to investigate what went on in connection with the election machine failures. She said they'd probably only do that if they had a local organization supporting it. I said I'd bring it to the board. I also informally volunteered Indivisible because they seemed like another organization that was active and probably less adverse to ruffling feathers down with the county.
Agree with that, yeah.
Which was basically what I said. I said, I'm all for it, but I think there's a significant concern, or should be a significant concern at the board level in terms of doing something that might antagonize the county government.
Or that seems political, yeah.
Well,
Whereas.
yeah, well, that would be perceived by some as political.
Yeah, right.
I don't view voting as political.
Right, no, I agree, yeah.
No, I know you agree. I was suggesting otherwise. Well, actually, I view this as, we're both a library and educational organization. We provide information. So I don't think it's I don't think it's a wrong, incorrect thing to do. I just think it may not be politically wise for the library to do it.
Right.
And that was my concern, which I expressed to her.
Did you speak to Sue already or no?
Yes, I did.
And she's game?
No, I didn't speak to Sue. No, I spoke to Sue. Sarah. Sarah, yes, I spoke to Sarah. I'm sorry. No, I haven't mentioned this. I'll give, I assume from this that the consensus is probably not something.
I agree 100% with you. If it was just me personally.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Like 110%. However, because it's the library and our reputation and how it could be viewed.
But
that's what
I think we're all in favor of getting to the bottom of it.
Absolutely.
Isn't the BOE at least they doing some due diligence on this?
The Board of Election, the answer is I don't know. I understand
They
that.
don't meet again until like April or something, is that correct?
Oh, look,
I don't know. I haven't had any communication.
All you can say is that from the Board of Election standpoint, we requested a recount. They sent a letter saying no.
Right.
Ultimately, there was a determination based upon their speaking with the vendor and discovering a problem that affected 3 elections. And in engaging with the State Board of Elections to do manual recounts for every vote in the county on every election. They posted on their website when they made that determination. They would keep the community advised of what was going on.
And then failed to do so.
And they didn't tell us the results of the election and made no further comments. And there's been crickets in connection with what's gone on.
So why do you think that is?
I don't know. I don't know. It demonstrated that their controls weren't very good. And their actions in response to it weren't particularly responsive to the communities or transparent.
Right.
Or informative. And no, still
And
knows what's
continue
going on.
that, and continue such.
So, but
Consistent.
I can't speak for them as to
Yeah.
why they made this.
Hopefully recognize and solve the problem.
I
I
don't,
mean, do you feel confident in that?
I have no reason to feel confident because I don't know. I would imagine these folks are responsible enough to speak to the vendors, which I understand they did. They figured out what happened to go wrong with this particular problem. Have they developed controls for the next problem that's going to occur as opposed to solving for the last problem? I doubt it. But it's sort of hard to know.
Exactly, I mean, it's kind of.
But at the same token, they supposedly tested the logic for the computers that were, or at least the machines that were doing the counting. They did a test, which after the machines were deployed,
Right.
their test was 6 votes or 10 votes, something like between 6 and 8 votes. That obviously wasn't enough to
Not adequate to
catch this particular problem. They probably, and probably standard operating procedure in terms of testing, probably run 50 to 100. And I mean, it would, so in any event, I would assume that some of their controls would be better. I have no confidence, only in the sense that they've given us no reason for confidence.
Right. Exactly.
So, I mean, have they learned from this experience? Yeah, they've learned from this experience. But in any event, so I mean, I think probably whether they could get, whether this organization could get the AG's office to look, I don't know. In any event, I'll
I get the words.
I'll tell Sarah no, and I'll give her Sue's contact information, and then I'll contact Sue.
You think the Times Union would have any?
I know that Sarah wrote to the Times Union, and that letter wasn't published. So
Well, I mean, as far as, I mean, one of their reporters had a good time with this. I mean,
one of the reporters simply took the information that
I understand, but still.
They didn't.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's.
Well, I'm saying they didn't express. There wasn't anyone saying, "Hey, this is an interesting story. Let's do an investigative report. Really figure out what was going on."
To me, or looks to me like something that would be worth playing with.
I mean, quite frankly, this is an area that's fraught, and it cuts across the political parties differently. So, if you were talking about the 2020 election,
No,
yeah, but I'm just saying, there was challenges that were unsubstantiated.
Yeah.
The Democratic Party was talking about the integrity, and the media was talking about the integrity of the system. So you've got cross currents in here where you don't see the press, either the conservative press or the liberal press, picking up these stories because there's tension between what actually happened and how to deal with it, both in terms of either demonstrating that there are problems with the voting system and the reliance on machines. And on the other, and there are people who advocate strongly for the machines because they're faster and they are generally reliable, but obviously not totally reliable.
Well, this wasn't a problem of the machine, it was a problem of the ballot, right?
I don't,
We
but
really
I don't slice, well, but I don't slice the
the.
salami that thinly. You've got a machine, you've got a ballot. Whether the ballot can be read by the machine properly, or there's a problem with the ballot, the system has a problem.
Right, the system had a problem.
So, but in any event, those are sort of the issues, and I think the lack of interest in either side of the media reflects that these shouldn't be, but are difficult issues for them because it cuts across their narratives. And so there you have it. Yeah, they wouldn't really care about that because that's what they do.
Well, it can be right up their alley.
Yeah, to find out. Somebody needs to find out.
Right.
Well, I mean, it just so, voters feel that confident going forward.
Yeah.
Right.
Because right now, you know, considering how cattywampus the results were.
Yeah, and if
You know,
something
I
like
mean-
this is so off, what?
I mean, that's what's scary is, you know,
Exactly.
come November this year, you know, where would confidence be in that situation? And that's, to me, that's not a party issue, that's just a confidence in the system issue.
Yeah.
And that's why I would take the time Union or someone like that would be interested in it, but, you know, I understand totally where Scott's coming from, and that it's a very, you have to be careful with these things, because there's minefields everywhere.
I mean, this is just observational. I think this is a story that was mishandled by the press and ignored.
Yeah.
And I think it's an interesting story.
Well, I think
I think the implications.
it's scary, it's scary as.
Really scary, incredible. And I'm surprised that someone hasn't
That's my
taken
thinking
this
is, you know.
and investigated and wrote about it. And look what happened in this little town that, you know, the support of the community to pursue just because we wanted this little bit of money for our library. Look what it uncovered, and then that's it.
They did make it into Book Riot. I don't know if anyone got my email.
I mean, the advocacy group has spoiled the county for the communications between the vendor and the county. They haven't produced documents yet. They probably just, well, I know that they, at least according to Sarah, they've, you know, basically said they need more time to assemble stuff. So the organization probably won't get documents very quickly.
Have we assessed what the specific risk is to the library if we were to run with this, or are we just assuming there is a risk of some sort?
It's a
and the risk is-
reputational risk. That it could be misinterpreted or misread, or that we look like we have an agenda as opposed to like.
I mean, I think the public perception is we did our job, he supported us, it's done.
It
move
worked.
forward, right?
I don't know that that's necessarily true. I had a patron come in today, or excuse me, yesterday, asking for what happened and asked me to print out all of the letters and correspondence saying, I just don't understand what happened and why are we not trying to figure it
A
out?
lot of people ask me to, and I just said there was something wrong with the machines, but like we don't know. Well, how come you don't know? Well, they haven't told us.
And we're all interested in finding out.
It is a slippery slope because it would have to be, the messaging would have to be such that we're not trying to get onto different sides and make this political in some way. But if another organization was willing to try and kind of put their back.
Yeah.
Is there a risk though of like us looking, if we don't talk about it, does it look
I
like?
think we can still talk about it. We can definitely say, we don't know what happened. All we know is what they've told us.
Yeah.
We're just curious to hear.
Yeah,
And since we're.
and I think people understand that.
I mean, my perception of the risk is if we are identified as the organization that has partnered with an advocacy group, which is a nonpartisan advocacy group, asking the Attorney General to investigate the county, certainly that's not going to be well received by the county,
Right.
from whom we do receive some funding. So, I mean, can I quantify that risk? No.
What about if we go bigger, like would the Upper Hudson Library System be able to?
This, all I can tell you is that I'm the president of the Appalachian Board of Trustees Library. Yes. So I mean, what I can tell you is not that I'm withholding anything, but all that at least I've observed in the meetings. So I've spoken about this at 3 board meetings. Is there's a lot of interest in the library community in connection with this. But if I put on my trustee hat, it's really not an issue for Upper Hudson because it's really not about the library systems. And basically, Upper Hudson is a library system which services a lot of larger and smaller libraries. But we provide services to those libraries, be it library loan and back office help and training, whatever. It's not really a core function of this state-funded institution. It's an actual state entity, but it's really not their boundary.
What I was thinking is that, this happened to our library, but I imagine, like you said, be of interest to any library that is watching this.
It's of interest to any library that's a school district library or an association library, any of the libraries that use the funding mechanisms provided by state statute, which go through voting, are going to have an interest in what could go wrong. So it's not something that's not an issue for libraries, but it's sort of not a core issue for the library system.
So I was trying to think of a way to have a coalition of some type of libraries that would try to push the formal request or partner with the advocacy group rather than just a singular library. That.
I mean, it's sort of like actually anyone who runs for anything or anyone who has a proposition. I mean, it's basically the integrity of the election system. That's an issue.
That's what that would be.
So back to maybe the League of Women Voters.
Well, the League of Women Voters is going to be meeting with, I think, the county, both with Henry Zwack and
In April. Yeah, so we'll probably get answers. Maybe, I would think. I mean, it's gonna take a while.
I can ask Michelle, the new library director down there, see what she thinks, just generally, from her perception, is this something that.
Oh, well, that library?
Yeah, she's the director of DNI with friends, and I can just ask her, what would you think? Because there is a problem right through, but they got a 60-40, which makes sense.
Well, I mean, one of the interesting issues is and this is something that I do not know, had it not been so lopsided, would anyone have noticed? Now, there was another election which was affected, but I think it was closer to the 60-40 spread.
I think we would have.
Well, I mean, my initial response when I saw what the returns was, I assumed that there was some regularity in connection with the vote. And it seemed to me like that's a lot of votes to make up. It didn't occur to me. Well, and that was. Well, yeah, but the way it was characterized, interestingly enough, in the press, and the reason why I thought they probably picked it up is, so this was a library that got clobbered 90-1, on a like a 10-1, well, 10 against 1-4, and they're seeking a recount. And that's the way the headlines read. Library that gets crushed in a plebiscite is asking for a recount. So, I mean, which was absolutely accurate. It wasn't wrong. But that was the hook on that story. Crazy.
But I also saw a number of stories that said that's a very unusual election outcome. You don't just need to ever see things that dramatic.
Well, that's why, people that are trying to pick up stories would say, it does sound wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it is something.
especially if you know
that's, yes. And that's how we led. We said, this is uncharacteristic.
Mm-hmm.
And just among us, we know that there are more people and we could identify.
And if it's on
counting, we found out what it was. I just remember counting there's no way.
Yeah, there's like 50 more people online saying that they voted yes than were captured in like the first 10
just
minutes.
like us, family and friends.
Yeah, exactly. It just couldn't be right.
You think we should basically wait to see what the vendor and the DOE come up with? Would that be your?
No, I mean, if I had my druthers and wasn't concerned about let's say, our fiduciary duties to the library.
Yeah.
I'd rabble wraps. I'd push this. But I don't see any advantage in antagonizing Board of Elections.
Especially if we can find other people to rabble rouse.
I think we should really pursue Sue.
Yeah.
Doing it.
I think
You know what I
Sue
mean?
should decide what her organization is.
And I would be not at all surprised if she's more than happy to.
That's what I'm.
Yeah, no, I just.
That's what I'm gonna ask.
I mean, this is our representative.
Here's our direction.
And he says it's a hot story, which I agree with. This is fascinating and scary and, and the Hallmark movie written all over it.
And it has a happy ending.
Little town.
Just one question on here, if we're having moved on from this.
I think we beat this thing.
Yes, we've decided to let the organization pursue it and they kind of on the sidelines for the time being. Am I understanding that?
Yeah.
That's fine.
I mean, if you want to be educational about it, the library could foil the county, get the information.
Yeah.
But that raises a sort of a little different issue, but you know, that's a different approach. I mean, if you do the same freedom of information law request of send us all the communications you had with the vendor concerning the problems.
And that could be totally under the radar, right? Right.
Well, the county would know you done it.
The county would know, yeah.
But
Why
I mean,
would that be a problem? If we want to know what happened, we just wanted for our own knowledge to just say, hey, we just need to know what happened.
based upon my experience with government, of which I have,
A lot.
um, institutions perceive requests for information about which they're sensitive, or information from advocacy organizations that are taking positions contrary to what the policy of the agencies are not particularly or necessarily sympathetic to the inquiries because it creates problems for the institution.
They view it as antagonistic. Well, I think we can wait on that, see if we get our answers via this, but in April. If we do, it's not necessary. There's no time limit, right?
None whatsoever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not much of a story. It's not much of a story later on. Then it's really just an academic exercise.
But I think if someone asks you at the library to say the board is discussing their options, you know, we're looking into it, you know.
No one's asked specifically, like, what are you going to do about it?
Well, maybe the gal today that want all the information.
Well, he just wanted he's just trying to learn more about what happened. You know, and we're like, and I was like, yeah, we would like to know more too, but
I mean,
you know, this is a communication.
frankly, as an alternative approach, which I wasn't thinking about, is you could write a letter to the board saying, what happened?
That would be reasonable to me, seeing as how they
Yeah.
never communicated anything.
Yes, no, I mean, perfectly reasonable.
It's so outrageous.
But none of the,
But it wouldn't have to go through FOIL. It could just be like, hey, we're sending
Yeah,
you this
no,
letter. Can
that's
you
right.
please just tell us what happened? So we can tell our patrons.
Still don't do
yeah, I mean,
I think that would be an okay thing to do. If anything, it would help us too to be able to communicate with patrons about, well, what happened? Why did this happen? You know, instead of us just being like, don't know, you know.
We're waiting on answers.
We can say that too, but I mean, it's very obvious if you go on our website, there's no communication from the Board of Elections except for that one letter. So, you know,
But
people are like, well, what happened?
It's on
I wish we could tell you. Maybe
I
something
mean,
like that would be,
I think that's a softer approach. That's not the least likely approach that would be viewed as by any reasonable person as being antagonistic or
Right.
causing trouble.
I think the scuttlebutt that I hear in like the education community and in other places where I travel is more along the lines of right now the Board of Elections leadership is looking pretty poor in the public eye. And I think given that's the nature of what I'm hearing, I think if we take any kind of approach at this point, it may not keep that scuttlebutt about, you know what I mean? I feel like the Board of Elections right now looks like they have something they need to prove on their side. If we start maybe asking those questions, then it maybe looks like we're, I don't know what the right wording I'm looking for, but it might change that dynamic of the public is kind of supporting us as the victim in the situation, whereas Board of Elections is not. They're the ones that did the problem, had the problem. They're the burden of proof right now. And if we flip it in any kind of way, I'm not sure how.
I don't think a simple letter.
No, I think a letter sounds reasonable. There's, just being careful of
Anything
like,
beyond that, I agree.
yeah, I think where we're at right now is we have a good reputation. We stood up to them. We won the situation as far as most people in layman's terms are looking at it. Why continue to kind of antagonize those people who are already looking poor in the public eye now as it is? You know what I mean? Like a simple letter makes sense. I think doing anything major from our standpoint isn't talking to an outside organization that wants to poke the bear. Okay, that's on them. But I think as an organization for us, we look in the general public eye as coming out on top of this.
Oh, definitely.
And I don't want to ruin that opportunity since we are such a big piece of the community by being like getting into a political arena where it's already it's already an arena that's very heavy with people. We keep it very light and open and all people are welcome and included. And I don't want to see that tainted. That's just my opinion.
I don't think sending a letter to them to say, hey, can you please tell us what happened?
Right.
And then if we have
the
to.
letter, I don't see that.
It's almost no more.
Yeah.
No more than
Beyond
that.
Yeah.
Haven't heard from you guys.
Yeah, can you?
What happened?
Yeah, exactly.
And from Jen?
Probably it's from Jen.
We'll volunteer.
We'll tell her that she's gotta have to write a letter.
Look, she left the meeting. That's what happened. I mean, I mean, for that matter, if we're really interested, I could probably, I don't know that Ed McDonough is still there. Ed was providing support to the Board of Elections because the Democratic commissioner was ill. He had a phone number at the Board of Elections. I don't think he was, but he wasn't paid. He was the former Democratic commissioner for like 30 years. And he was the one I was speaking to and was getting information. I mean, I started with Henry Swack. He sort of wanted to tell me that we shouldn't worry, they got everything under control. That was Henry's line. I then started communicating with Ed and got some different kinds of information from him. And maybe I can find out if he's still around because he can probably just let me know exactly what happened. My understanding was that, well, my lack of understanding was that the ballot formatting was being improperly read by the election machines. So that the combination of how, and I think it may have been something as simple as the front of the ballot was in a vertical format and the back of the ballot was in a landscape format. And no one realized that the different formats was going to create a problem given the programming of how the machines were programmed to read the ballot. And therefore a lot of stray stuff was erroneously or incorrectly counted, or ballots weren't counted. That's sort of what I understood that I was being told.
So you're gonna do that? You're gonna speak to Ed?
I think maybe that I'll find out if he's still around.
And that would preclude the need for the letter if you get
Well,
I think a letter is still a good idea.
it depends what we're looking for. If you want to be able, if people are going, what happened?
Yeah, I want an answer.
I
to
think
what
you'll,
happened,
you'll,
that we can
you'll
tell them
actually
what
get a
happened.
story and that's good enough. If that's the purpose, if there's a purpose, if people feel strongly about process and election integrity, getting a story as to what just the actual problem was doesn't get to why don't you have any process in connection with this kind of situation? Why don't you develop procedures as to how to deal with someone seeking a recount when there's something funky, but there's no statutory requirement?
Right, and all that
And that,
stands regardless.
well, I mean, so I'm saying, but that's a different kind of result. Then you're working towards getting a more reliable, more transparent, more easily accessible election system at the county level,
Right,
which doesn't exist now.
Board of women voters or one of those
Yeah, well, that's
looking
what
for
that's what they do. I mean, this voting advocacy group is not particularly supportive of the move towards the machine counting and electric counting, which is not to say that they don't view it as a useful technology, but they're interested in probably better checks and controls and making sure that they retain paper ballots and just making sure that, sort of like human beings can, at the end of the day, replicate whatever machines do. So, I mean, I think that's sort of where they are. But I mean, we have any number of ways to do it. I mean, if you think that it makes sense for me to just nose around, I probably can get that information.
Yeah, I think getting information is really important. I think also making sure that somebody is looking into the election integrity issue and following up on this because it's just so outrageous.
Well, I'll give you a little sharp response here. You can, and don't take this wrongly, it's not meant the wrong way. If this is an important issue and we're interested in it, we got to go with it. If we think it's consistent with, our duties towards the library. So, sort of take responsibility and do what you do. I mean, we can speak to other people and try to get them interested in it, but, sort of like it'd be nice. I mean, I wish the media would have picked this up and run with it, because that would have been actually the most forceful way of getting the government to pay attention to this, but they haven't.
But these two organizations are interested by virtue of what they do. So,
well, I mean, the advocacy group said they'd be doing it, but they want local support. And I mean, I agree with, I think, most everyone in this room that probably Indivisible is more inclined to do it because they don't have the concerns that we have.
right. And more suitable, under the circumstances.
At the end of the day, the final question is it this board's job? Our job is to protect the library. Job is not to jump into.
Yeah, I think that's the concern. People,
That's how I would, and just like you said, from the Upper Hudson, and it's not their bailiwick. I think just writing a letter, find out what happened is, that's all we can really do. I mean, that we're serving the library.
like, for example, Upper Hudson's focus in our discussions was more in terms of library operations and trustee operations. The focus, at least in our discussions, were what we're doing, what's our approach, how are we navigating it, how are we organizing it. It's sort of what they do in trustee training in connection with, okay, you have a problematic program that has upset half the community. How do you communicate what you're doing? Who do you appoint to handle the press? What do you do? That's sort of what their interest was. It was sort of like, how did you navigate this particular problem?
Mhm.
What was useful? What was successful? What can other library boards of trustees learn from how you navigated this particular? And so like that was sort of like the real focus because, okay, other libraries are gonna have problems, whether it's programmatic or book banning or censorship or all of these things. And that was sort of what the discussions were really about at the board level at the Upper Hudson. So people, following it, obviously interested in it, but what can we learn from your experience?
And like, that goes back to what I was saying, and like the scuttlebutt is that we handle this well right now. I think like the perception is we did a thorough job of calling it into question and pushing the envelope of seeing that we got some sort of, recount.
Yeah.
And that's the perception. People kind of drop it at that point. They're not looking for the push
Well,
that we're talking about.
we solved our problem, but there's a different issue.
A bigger problem.
Yeah.
There are people who want more. Us saying, oh, I don't know, but it got fixed, so we're not worried about it. Doesn't really work.
I agree.
No, but I think that, we.
It almost kind of shows that, okay, we got our money. Okay, let's move on. No, but I'm saying it can be perceived as that way if we don't have any answers.
I'm also. What do we do and don't do?
Yeah.
Yes, those are the things to be concerned about.
My sense at this point, let me reach out to either the board or to Ed and see if I can get an explanation. I will let Sarah know that we're not interested in sponsoring their application to Letitia James's office to do an investigation. Well, I'll tell her that if you want to send me over whatever you get in your Freedom of Information Act request, I'm happy to take a look at it. And I'll get her in touch with Sue.
That sounds cool.
And I'll let Sue know that. Like maybe I'll give Sue just a buzz and say that this is this group that's asking about it. They've asked us if we wanted to sponsor this. This is not what we're interested in.
And so were we doing this simultaneously with generating a letter, or we're leaving a letter?
I think we leave the letter out. I mean, I think it's easier just to, just make inquiry and see.
Okay.
And I'll take notes so that I at least can be a little bit sure that I will repeat what they tell us without further garbling it. I won't be the agent of misinformation. I think I got it right, but I'm not quite sure because I've heard any number of sort of different permutations of what was going on in terms of machine count.
Sounds good.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
that went longer than I thought it would.
No, wait a second.
Yeah, well, yeah, you get me talking and it's an interesting issue. I mean, it's not what I would like to do, but I think what it makes sense to do. So we didn't get any it says on the agenda, call for public comment. Now, let me just.
Guess what? Guess what? You're on.
As a member of the public. It's probably not what you expect. In a board discussion. This is
My guess is most of the public have no clue.
This is a working board.
Yeah, I see that.
As opposed to Upper Hudson, they got staff there. They've got degrees, they've got training. They know what they're doing. And it's a very different experience than working in a small town library that's under-resourced, that's pedaling as hard as it can to, between public funding and fundraising, keep the doors open and getting programs interesting. So like we're all chief cooks and bottle washers in terms of doing bids. It's sort of like, oh, who's good? Okay, we need to get 3 bids. I mean, it's sort of like a whole different thing. And if the board, if these kinds of libraries don't have people who are committed to do it, the wheels fall off the bus because the resources provided
to the library and the staff and the small number of hours, you just can't run a library now.
Curious, I know we're up against time. Real quick, just firing squad here, round the table. What is the biggest challenge? Is it fundraising? Is it community engagement? Is it resources? Over the years, what has been the biggest?
I would have said fundraising up until
Today.
today, because we, things
Well-
work out with the.
Is that a blip because you have passionate people coming out to this issue and writing the check and doing the affirmation, and that's not.
I think so.
I think
Most
so.
likely, yes. I think definitely.
I also though wonder whether or not people really understood where we were in terms of needing the extra funding. I don't know that we communicated it well enough that, hey, we really, I don't think people understand or understood just where we were financially, because no one cares. I mean, no one's paying attention to that. No one's reading our P&Ls or, our balance sheets or anything like that. So I don't think everyone really understood, hey, we really do need this extra money, until it was
Until
time.
they thought, ooh, we might lose, I mean, they thought they might lose the library, which no one ever said was the case, but they thought the
Well,
library
since-
might have to close.
Well, we were talking closing days and
Yes, yes.
getting rid of programming and all that other
Talking
stuff.
back.
So
But it was sort of at the edges. I mean, I think really also Rubicon in 2018. Before that, we were getting $45,000 from the town. And we had about probably about an $85,000 budget, as I recall. So we had to raise like $45,000 or so to keep the doors open. And that was a big nut to crack. And there came a point where it was just simply unsustainable. We didn't have the kind of demographic where you could reach out and reliably get the amount of money you needed to operate the library. At that point, if we didn't get an additional $45,000, I don't know what we would have done. I don't think this library could have survived. We did a 414. We won by about 40 votes. It was decided only looking at the write-in ballots. The threshold was so close. We asked for enough money that would carry us we planned for about 5 or 6 years. We went about 8 before we went back to the well and sought another $15,000. Now that didn't seem like enough, but what was clear is that it wasn't a great model to wait 7 years before you ask for more money, because that would be a bigger nut, because then we'd be asking for like another 40% going out. So like the question was, do you do it for 1 year? Do you do it for 2 years? I mean, I think what we've seen is that probably going back and seeking incremental raises in funds makes more sense, because then you can keep it under the 2% cap and all of that sort of stuff. And it doesn't seem like it's nibbles rather than bites. So, I mean, I think we solved the financial problem, but we also had pressures like we need a new roof, we needed a new heating plant, the windows really stink. I mean, there are any number of things that we need to do. So you need to build reserve. We did have reserve funds back then. Now, at least with the monies we have capital improvement funds and maintenance funds and all that stuff. So the past, I would say 10 years, there's a market change in the management of the library. And I think we had a institution on sort of cliff's edge in connection with survivability and sustainability. I mean, I think we're now much sounder footing, but which doesn't mean that we're on great footing. We still are under resourced on tight budgets, but sort of
It seems like it's a lot of it falls back to financial, like how are we gonna get enough money? Like
I think the biggest challenge, to answer your question, is how do we maintain that excellent support in the community that we saw?
Mhm.
How do they obviously came out because they trust us, they appreciate what we're doing. So how going forward could we continue to be worthy of that trust?
And
that to me is the biggest challenge.
Yeah, and expand our reach, because there are various
Yeah.
groups of people. There are library users, and there are lots of people here in this community who said, I don't use it, I won't pay for it, I don't really see the need for it. And We won't be able to convert all of those folks, but I think the focus on developing programming that interests the varied array of interests in this community, which are really varied. I mean, our demographics are sort of all over the place. Where
That would be my biggest.
but
That's the problem itself.
well, I don't see that.
I think that as the director, trying to reach all of the people and making sure people in the community understand and know what we do and know what I have available for them, and being able to do that all within a budget is definitely a big challenge. So it comes down to the money. Like, okay, I have $5,000 for my programming budget. I want to get this, and this done so I can reach this person and that person and that person. How do you make sure all of that
And
stuff
when
works?
scheduled.
Right.
The other things that are needing their attention and time. It's a lot. Yeah.
One of the things I have tried to do, though, is maintain connections with different community organizations. So, like, get veterans, trying to get more involved with the fire department. So, trying to reach out as much as we can to make sure people understand that this is not just for kids and old people. It's for everybody, and we have lots of things for everybody to do.
Current technology, which is constantly changing.
Okay.
So the nature of libraries and the functions of
Oh my
libraries.
gosh, that's
I mean,
too, yeah.
when I was in grad school, I worked at the University of Michigan Library. It's a very, very different world from when I was in grad school in 77, 78. And now in terms of what libraries were, what libraries did. Now, granted, that was an academic library. But here you're talking about with the information technology that's available and the decline in the use of hard copy books and the use of digital materials and the nature of information is available and the quality of the information is available. It's a whole different thing, and libraries are working in that area, but it's a huge transition.
And another example of just how we're reaching out to the community and supporting all different kinds of populations is the summer food program for kids that we participated in. Kim worked all summer on making sure that kids had
Food,
lunches and
breakfast and lunch
and
for
lunch
the entire summer.
So
But
That was from through New York State. It's a federally funded program, but done down to the New York State level. So it's through Healthy New York, I think.
it was a lot of work.
Yeah, so we didn't pay anything. It was just, the time, but yeah. So really, that's great. Yeah, well, we tried to do it this year and we did breakfast and lunch for, I don't remember what my numbers were, but it was a very high. I think we served about 1,000 lunches and breakfasts throughout the entire summer. So maybe it was 3,000. I think it was like 2,999 or something crazy like that.
really awesome.
Yeah, it was good. And Steventown was actually one of the first libraries to offer free lunches way back when, working with this group and trying to get it together. So it's a Rensselaer County program, but yeah, we were one of the first, which if not the first in the state. So, but that wasn't me, that was Loren, and we've just kept it going since then, and now changing the structure so that people can just come in and get food instead of having to sit and eat here, which is what we used to be. It used to be that you had to come, sat here, ate here, food wasn't allowed off the premises. And now it's grab it and go, which is a lot easier and a lot better.
And I feel like more people take advantage of it that need it because they're not being highlighted to sit and eat at the location. They can come in quietly. They can send somebody else that's going to pick it up if they really are feeling whatever. And it was wonderful. The families were so grateful. It was really good.
Right.
My ride's here.
Right.
But on the plus side.
Well, that's part of our youth service.
Everybody who was involved with it had a really fun time, and it was nice to see the community come out, support it, and give a place for the community to really celebrate the holidays, so to speak. So there are so many benefits.
Is that important? How that important?
That's Halloween. Actually, candy makes.
Take the street, so joy in that. Makes all of this wild.
I think,
That's what I would say.
I think for Steventown particularly, we function in, even though we don't say it, we function a lot like the community center and the library,
say it.
without being able to like point ourselves the community center because we're the library. But we really are that double hub, and I think we work really hard and well together to make that a thing. And you know, Kim especially, 'cause she's here every day with it. So it's,
I
you know,
live here, didn't you know that?
so it was a center point of my childhood, and I like to come and bring my kids. And I know a lot of people are grateful to the nth degree for this place, especially in the winter months when they're long and cold and difficult. So
Just keep it on.
I'm trying.
there we go.
I'm trying.
That's our story.
That answer your-
Yes, no, it.
He's like, I got way too much.
No, I think the last-
I mean, yeah,
Any discussion about it? Okay, all in favor?